Hi, I'm Smiley4baseball, and this is a story of my randomized Pokémon Infinite Fusion Hardcore Nuzlocke. On screen I will be showing you my settings, but here are my rules. I must catch the first encounter on every route. Duplicates were up to my discretion. If it is a fused mon, they remain fused forever. I had no healing in battle. I can only be as strong as the next gym leader's ace Pokemon or the next main story battle's Pokemon, or the champion's weakest Pokemon. I will put the level caps I used in the description. I must name them unless fused, then they can have their fuse name. I may have named a few fused mons on the way. And finally, we use the set battle style. Some other important information, this was my 19th run. I had lost 18 times before I finally got this one going. If you are interested in seeing videos of my 18 losses, drop a like or subscribe, and I will see what I can do. We started off by choosing my starter out of Mankey, Rampardos, and Zapdos. I don't remember any of my other runs starting with a legendary, so I go with Zapdos. We start off by beating up on Delta 113, my rival and my in real life brother. Afterwards, we get Oak's parcel, head back to the mart to get our free Slugma and buy Pokeballs so that this run can finally start. I head out and I first catch a Kangaskhan. I catch a Squirtle. And I catch a Charmander. Before I finally knock out a Roserade encounter. All in all, not a bad start. I had 5 Pokemon to take on Brock and his fighting type gym. Zappy the Zapdos defeats Brock in no time flat. Sadly, on the next route, we end up losing this Charmander in this double battle. We make up for it, though, by buying this Magikarp that's actually a Mantine. However, this Mantike encounter inside of Mount Moon ends up taking out Lava, the Slugma. I end up being extremely human and forget to record our way through Mount Moon, but these are the 3 remaining Pokemon. We fight Delta 113 again, but everything seems to be fine, even though we only have those 3 mons. We help Bill unfuse himself from a Pokemon and get the SS Ann ticket, and then we head down and fight Misty and defeat her bug gym. Our next few route encounters include a Pokemon Egg, this Empoleon, and then we fish up this Sandshrew in Vermilion City. We find this fisherman's boot in the water, and end up getting a free Togetic after returning it to him. We knock out the Diglett Tunnel encounter, which was a Delibird, but we end up catching this very important Bonsly. More on him later. We go into the SS Anne, do a little bit of training, and then end up fighting Delta 113 again before meeting the Cutmaster. After meeting the Cutmaster, we decide to head into the Vermilion City Gym to fight Lieutenant Surge. His Pokemon in this one were Ghost types, and we didn't really have any super effective damage against him, so we just went in and hit him as hard as we could. On our way to Rock Tunnel, I ran into a couple of cool-looking fusions that I thought I would show you. Out of the next 4 encounters, I only end up catching one, the Groudon right here. I end up knocking out a Krokorok, a Giratina, and later on a Houndoom mixed with an Eevee. Good news is I can't knock out free Pokemon, and this guy gave me a Scizor. We fight Delta 113 again, this time in the Pokemon Tower. The next few encounters are a little bit more successful. I get this Kingler Almaldo, and then this Abra that is actually a Raichu. I walk around with this lady's Eevee, and end up getting a Dugtrio. I team up with Erica and fight my way through the sewers, and end up finding Giovanni at the end of his hideout. Giovanni doesn't end up being that tough of a fight, but he does have 2 fused legendaries. Afterwards, I head into Erica's gym and defeat her Poison-type Pokemon with my Groudon. We catch a future team member in Nidoang, and then reverse fuse our Blastoise and Groudon into this really cool fusion. We also catch this Flareon and add it to the team. Still more Pokemon to add to the team, we end up catching this Genesect and then fuse it with our Zapdos. Then we head on to Koga and his Dragon-type Pokemon team. We end up using Fluffy, a Clefairy and Ursaring fusion we hatched from an egg earlier, to take on Koga. We beat him with Leftovers, Minimize, Cosmic Power, and Stored Power. I get a little reckless, and I lose my starter Pokemon mixed with Genesect. I make up for it a little bit by catching the slacking Monferno. Problem is, it still had Truant. A common thread in this playthrough seems to be Armaldo. We fight our way to the top of the Silphco building, and end up having to fight Delta 113 again. After we beat up on him and don't lose a Pokemon to him, we heal up and we take on Giovanni as a team. The battle with Giovanni goes about as well as you can expect. The land, my Groudon Blastoise, kinda just plows through Giovanni's team, with a little bit of help from Delta 113, I suppose. We then head on over to Sabrina's gym and her ground-type Pokemon. We taught King Crab Crabhammer, and he manages to do a bunch of damage before we have to switch out so we don't lose anybody. The next couple of Pokemon caught are very important in Chansey and Ghastly. I also end up catching this Luxray encounter on Cinnabar Island. We head into the Pokemon Mansion and end up fighting this Fire Breather who has a triple fusion. We end up getting a little overconfident though and end up losing land to this Hitmonbilly. We ended up finding Blaine in the Pokemon Mansion, and we sent him back to the gym so that we could beat him. We do end up losing Monkey King this fight, the slacking Infernape we wanted to use for this Ice-type gym. I run at this Charmander and decide this is the perfect time to re-catch one and take a second chance on it. I do lose out on this Kyurem encounter though, which is a little sad. We fight our way through Mount Ember and a bunch of Team Rocket grunts to our biggest challenge yet, Giovanni and his Zapmolkuno. The plan was to use our fused Blissey and Sudowoodo to Rock Slide and do as much damage as possible to this Zapmolkuno, and then, afterwards, clean up with whatever Pokemon I could. This was my plan after catching a Chansey and a Bonsly earlier on in the game, and I don't think I could have beat this run without them. Thank you, Joy. After Joy's valiant sacrifice, King Crag comes in and throws some rocks at it, and we finish off Zapmolkuno. Now it was time to head to the 8th gym and defeat Giovanni for the final time. Just like Brock at the very beginning, Giovanni was a fighting-type gym leader. We brought out Queen Kang, set up with her, and then finished the job. And with that, we had all 8 badges and could make our way to the Pokemon League. On our way to the Pokemon League, we ended up losing a couple of key members, so we were heading into this fight with a couple of new members to the team, including Loomer, who didn't even really survive the first fight with you two. While that wasn't our best start we could have had, it didn't end up too badly harming us in the long run. Grell ended up taking out most of Lorelei's team, without much issue. With Growl, Second Chance my Charizard Gengar, and Man Buffet the Wobbuffet Mantine, we seem to handle Lorelei's team pretty well. After defeating Lorelei, we head over to Bruno and his water-type Pokemon. Man Buffet has a hard time of stalling out this Crocobro. But to be completely honest, Manbuffet was the MVP of this run. He ends up taking all of Bruno's Pokemon thanks to Toxic, Roost, Bubble Beam, and Aqua Ring. After Manbuffet slowly poisons his way through Bruno's team, we head over to Agatha and her Electric-type Pokemon. I try to get Manbuffet out of there as quickly as possible and switch over to Growl, the Raichu Tyranitar. The goal at this point is to use Growl to Earthquake his way through Agatha's Electric-type Pokemon. I want to get Growl out, so I switch to Second Chance, who finishes off Agatha. And with that, we head to Lance and his Steel-type Pokemon. This Elite Four member might end up being tough because I can't Toxic the Steel types, but I bring in Flayray to try and burn my way through it. Flayray takes out the first Mon before going down to this Q-Sharp. Which is okay, because I just bring in Second Chance, who can just Flamethrower its way through this Elite Four member, defeating Lance extremely quickly. And with that, it was time to face my rival Delta 113 one final time. It took a while for the stall tactics to work in this one, because Delta 113 kept healing my poison, and I kept getting frozen over and over again by Ice Beam. Why this Raigon didn't have an Electric-type move, I will never know. If it used an Electric-type move, I probably would have lost this run. Eventually, Delta 113 runs out of healing items, and we get to knock out the Raigon and take on this Bee Owl. I decide it's time to go to something more fiery to try and take this thing on, but I end up switching to Second Chance's Death. I end up bringing in Growl and take it down. Growl does its best to take on the Regigigas Meryl. And then Delta 113 switches to their starter, the Primeape Armaldo, who final gambits Sofonda, a Pokemon I didn't even really get to use a lot in the Elite Four. Growl comes in to take on this Infestor, but it knocks out Growl, leaving me with only Manbuffet. This is where Manbuffet's stall tactics were going to have to work overtime in order for me to win this run. Delta 113 switches to Lopacate, who keeps endeavoring, even after I end up poisoning it. But I can Toxic, heal, it can keep using Endeavor, but it's going to die eventually to my poison no matter what. The good news is the Pokemon in the back was also toxic, so I have an advantage either way. Manbuffet stalls out, bubble beams everyone to death, and I am the new champion in this Infinite Fusion Hardcore Nuzlocke. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching and coming along on this journey. If you could, like and subscribe and let me know what I should play next. This challenge nearly broke me, but I feel great finishing it. Thank you so much again, and bye-bye.